or a 10. I used to always ask what would make it a 10, and I found that that made people kind of lock up in fear because they couldn't even imagine what their life would be like as a 10. So that freaks people out. Just ask them what to make a little higher. And whatever they tell you, that's going to show you what's missing in their business. And then you can focus on how the resources you have help them achieve that. Maybe it's directly through EXP. Maybe it's through a training you know how to do. Maybe it's through there's so many ways you can connect the dots. That's a whole separate training. But I used to always ask one script to find out pain points and emotional people kind of lock on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate your business? They couldn't even imagine what their life would be like as a 10. What would make it a 9 or an 8? That freaks people out. What about you, Tina? Ask them what to make a little higher. And whatever they tell you, that's going to show you what's missing in their business. And then you can focus on how the resources you have help them achieve that.
As far as
Maybe
for
it's
real
directly
estate.
through EXP.
I
Maybe it's
never
through a training
really
you know how to
dove
do.
into
Maybe
scripts
it's through
for
there's so
agent
many
attraction because, to
ways
be
you can
honest,
connect the dots. That's a whole
we've been blessed
but I used to
training our
always make it
agents
find out
to
pain points and
invite
people kind of
people to the opportunity. So I'm really, kind of bringing people into the trainings. I guess when they're here, and the conversation is natural, like you said, what would change your, I'm change one thing about our business real estate. So it's just starting that conversation, hey, how's your year going? If you could change one thing in your business, what would it be? And that just starts down the path of just building relationship. I don't look at it, I'm going into a conversation about EXP on the first meeting. It's usually after I've talked to the agent for 3 or 4 times and we're just having life talk. And so, I might direct them to my YouTube page or direct them to my Facebook page, say, hey, I've done a video, or I'll send you a video on that, and you're just sending them information. Like, I've got a video that might help you with that. And then I'm opening up that relationship. So for me, it's the long game play. It's not like, oh my God, let me show you about EXP, come to my lunch and learn. We can do that. That's not my personality.
I love it. And we don't have to have everybody answer the same questions. I always get bored on panels when you have, 3 people all answer the same question. But do you have anything, either Jeff or Krista, anything to add in terms of the scripting or non-scripting that you use when you're talking to agents?
I hate using scripts. I think that going back to what I originally said, was you always want to come from a place of value. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going to host an event every single month. We're going to operate between like a training event and a fun event. And obviously with COVID, we don't know how this is going to work. So our first training event is in December. It's a Zoom business planning event because everybody, when it's cold, they start to think about what their next year is going to look like, especially in December and January. So we want to do a free business planning event. And I'm very against like hard pitches. I will never pitch you. I don't ever ask for business. So I don't ever ask for agents to join. So what Krista and I have thought about doing is, so we're going to do our trainings for a little bit in the day. And then, hey, if you're interested in joining with us in eXp, come to this Zoom. So they have to actually leave the current Zoom that they're in and go into another one. And that's the same thing you can do for a live event when, live events become a thing again. Just, hey, like if we go to Topgolf, we're going to go to Topgolf and we're going to play, we're going to play golf for a little bit. If you guys are interested in eXp, why don't you come to the bar afterwards? If not, no pressure. Like I'm never high pressure. I don't think you can be in this world anymore. So I'm there to give value. And, I think that that's the way you win long-term with getting agents is, provide them with some sort of value. There's so many resources out there. I mean, you can learn anything on YouTube. There's tons of podcasts. I mean, that part of Jesse's and mine's relationship is just sharing information with each other, like stuff that we found valuable, like even music that reminded me of the other person. Like that's how you connect with people and you have deeper relationships, and being available. I think probably the number one thing is that I'm available to other agents. There's a lot of agents here that work for other brokerages where they can't get a hold of their team leader. They have questions, and sometimes there isn't, there's no emergencies in real estate, but sometimes you need a question answered like that's time sensitive. And if their broker isn't available and you are, that's valuable. And that's how you win long term, is being valuable to people without having any expectations.
I love it, guys. And I'm trying to read the box to see there's a lot of good questions. I'm going to scroll up through here and kind of pick out some questions as we see them from the audience because we're about halfway through this first panel. Social distancing option. Sally, I will say, so I helped bring Jeff Lyons on to eXp. He had 35, in case you joined us late, Jeff Lyons ran an independent brokerage, 35 agents, right? I helped bring him over to eXp. We've never met in person. I live in San Diego. He's in Northwest Indiana. Valparaiso, right? I've never even been to the state of Indiana. And it's one of those things where if I've become obsessed, I'm obsessed with a lot of things, but during COVID, I've become obsessed with how do I leverage Zoom, social media, and a bunch of things to do what I used to be able to, because I used to travel around the country a lot. I haven't left my house in a while. I mean, physically I've left the country, but you know what I mean? So how do I use these tools we have to really leverage that? So I think there's a way to do a social distancing option, either in person or via Zoom. I may never get back to flying on a plane the way I used to a lot because I now know how to do it with Zoom and it's a heck of a lot more efficient. I can make a lot more connections a lot more quickly rather than trying to do these in-person events. We can do it at scale over webinars. It's really fun. All right, let's see here some questions here. I want to ask a question that I'll read through the box and see. I had one more question for you guys. Let's see who wants to jump in here first. Tina, Krista, Jeff, I want to know your biggest agent attraction mistake so far. I once gave a presentation to a Remax office looking at leaving Remax and joining eXp in a Batman costume at Halloween a couple years ago, and it went bad. I'll just say that. I won't tell the whole story. It's kind of funny. Team leader told me I should come in costume. They said everyone's gonna be dressed up. Turns out they were not dressed up. There's like 3 of them dressed up. This is before COVID. I was like dripping and it was really hot, sweaty wear. Anyway, it was kind of funny. It was probably one of my biggest agent attraction fails so far. Tina, Krista, Jeff, who wants to start? You guys got any agent attraction mistakes so far?
I made my first call. I'm not a caller by any means, so I made my first call be like to one of the top brokers in the area. So what I would do next time is probably not call one of the top guys and start from the bottom up, just until I at least got comfortable and felt better with it. Because I definitely made a lot of mistakes. I just started talking too much about eXp and not really, leading with value. And it was like, I bombed, and I wasn't confident at all. I was nervous about calling, and it totally showed through my voice. So.
Got it. Let
me add to that. I think that when you go and you look at these panels, I think you guys think that we all have like everything together. Krista is an absolute real estate celebrity, and she called me and she's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to call. I don't know what to say. And she was like freaking out. I was like, Krista, like the fact that you're calling people is the biggest hurdle. So like, don't get obsessed with what do I have to say? You're going to be nervous. That's honestly the big thing for me is leading with value. So I'm going to have something that I can, when I do call, I can say, hey, we're having this event. I'd love for you to join. And naturally, the conversation is going to go to eXp because everybody knows that I switched to eXp through social media. So I'm going to let them lead that conversation to social media. But I actually want to point out another one of Krista's mistakes. When she was recruiting me, I met with Krista because I had contributed to her book. I really appreciate her intelligence when it comes to real estate. And when she joined eXp, I was like, oh my God, because I had been looking at eXp for like 8 or 9 months and nobody could explain the numbers correctly to me. And nobody really approached me in a way where I was like, okay, this person is legit. Krista sent me up to one of her sponsors who is not Jesse. And we talked and the guy was fine. He's not somebody I personally get along with. And like our personalities clashed. And so I actually had moved on to a new sponsor and I was probably like 2 or 3 weeks away from signing up with them. And then Jesse sends me a message and says, hey, Jeff, I saw you talked with Krista and I saw you talked with this other sponsor. Are you still thinking about eXp? I was like, yeah, I am. But honestly, I've almost essentially committed to this other sponsor.
And let me pause right here, Jeff, and say before we continue. First thing that I said, and I want you to tell me if this is true, Jeff, if you've got someone that you're committed to, go for it. Do it. This is real. Jeff interviewed how many people for eXp, Jeff, did you interview?
9.
9 different potential sponsors. So in the audience, guys, I want you to know from a corporate culture standpoint, do not steal other people's recruits. Not that, like, if someone's going deep with someone, let them go, do their thing. But this is happening in the world. This is real. There are people who are going and outbound doing research. They are actively searching and interviewing different people and seeing who they want to connect with. That's real life. So as long as you say, hey, if there's someone you're going deep with, I respect that. I'll just support you, do your thing. If they start saying, no, I want to interview people and talk to you, then it's okay, right? I 100% agree. Amanda said we should be edifying each other. Fully agree. In this case, Jeff was outbound searching. He had gone through 8 or 9 different potential people to talk to. That was Jeff's choice, and we have to let people make their choices. So continue, Jeff. So I called you, and what did I say?
So, and honestly, Jesse and I connected on a very personal level. We started talking about music. Jesse, I'll let you tell your part of the story. But Jesse was, so when you switch from an independent brokerage to eXp, if you're an independent broker that makes any money, you're going to lose money when you switch to eXp. And honestly, the person I was about to sponsor to and Jesse are the only 2 people who told me that. They're like, yeah, you're going to lose money. But Jesse kind of solidified that long term, you can earn passive income way more aggressively with way less effort and no risk and liability, and you can take a bunch of other things off your plate. So it's more about really listening to me and matching up personalities together. And so that's kind of where I was able to connect the dots and be like, okay, I finally legitimately understand how this is going to work, how it's going to look, and then how we're going to get to that point where I can replace the income I had from my independent brokerage. So matching up the right people with the right sponsors is super important.
Yeah, let me answer a couple of questions I see in the chat box. Diana says, why are you going to lose money? So Jeff is one of these rare independent brokers. He had 35 agents at his brokerage. So he was the broker. He had 35 agents at an independent company, basically not a franchise. That's what independent means. And he was making 6 figures without selling any houses, just from the splits he's getting from his agents. So in order to come to eXp, it is a short-term step back. There's ways to offset that, but you have to be real with people. You have to be transparent that you're not going to join eXp and get rich overnight. It's building a new income stream that he was never going to make 7 figures as an independent broker, but at eXp that's possible, and with a lot less expenses and with a lot less liability. Right, that's the difference. For some of you guys typing in here, I see some stories. We hit some emotional hot buttons, so I want to really make sure we have 338 of you in the room, and I want to make sure we really hit this point home. Right, someone said they've been talking to someone for over a year, right, husband and wife, and they were transitioning, and an out-of-town agent called them and offered to pay for a custom website and lead gen, and if they sponsored another person. That is not right. I'm telling you guys right now, I feel your pain. It's happened to me. I get it. That is not our corporate culture at eXp. Support each other. We are one team, one dream, right? This is one of those things. Does it happen? Right? We're talking about a case here where you can't control the people you're talking to. If you haven't solidified a relationship or they don't understand whatever it is, and they start going and they're just on a path to interview a bunch of people, you have to respect people's journey. I think, Jeff, I don't know how many times I told you, dude, sponsor whoever you want, right? You got to pick this. Right, Jeff? So I mean, that's what comes out of my mouth often is you have someone that's your sponsor. I support that. Stay with them. That's your person. That's really who you should be going to. And email that we can take some of this offline or somewhere else. I'll have to read through these back there. But I saw some other questions. I just want to make sure you guys hear that message. If someone has someone they've been talking to and they're going deep with eXp, honor that. Don't go recruit them. There's plenty of agents out there. 1.2 million agents. There's plenty of agents for us all to win in a pretty massive way, right? 100%. Okay. Tina, did you have something you wanted to expand on any of these topics? Otherwise, I got another question for you from the audience.
Yeah, just on the mistakes things, obviously, I think, all of us are making mistakes every single day, but I think, not following up enough, that's a big mistake because I think agents are getting smarter as eXp is now, very well known. People have heard about it from everybody. Agents come to me all the time saying, I'm interviewing agents, I'm interviewing a sponsor. I haven't heard this, as commonly until probably the last 5 or 6 months. So I think it is, digging deeper, but at the end of the day, I have, myself let go of recruits and said, nope, you should go to this person, only to find out that 2 months later, 3 months later, they leave the company. And, because sometimes I think, that person picking a sponsor also needs to make sure they're set up on the right success track for their own future. So I think that's, the mistake is, sometimes letting people go too soon or tucking people under unmotivated people on my team. So I have done that probably 10 times, tucked people under because I want to help everyone. And then you realize the person that you've tucked them under doesn't really care about agent attraction. So I think it was Brent Gove that told me, do not do that. People are going to either be agent attractors or they're not. And so you can't make everybody rich. You can't help the world. You have to obviously do it for yourself and do what's right. So I think, just that, and then not holding on to the pain that, oh my God, somebody just signed up with so-and-so out of wherever. It's like sometimes you hold on to that as a personal thing and you just got to let it go. I mean, you can't have regrets and you just got to let it go fast.
I love it. Kyle just typed in the box, be a leader, not a savior. I've never heard that, Kyle, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I've got more questions from.
Can I say something real quick too, Jess? I think it's really important as well to be comfortable allowing somebody, if somebody you feel will do better and thrive with a different mentor, even if you have been talking to them, I would say that too, right? You want what's best for the individual more than anything else. So because that way they'll succeed, they'll stay with the company will succeed, et cetera, et cetera. And then I also wanted to say back to the agent attraction. So recently I had one of my best friends come over, and he has been with the same broker for 13 years. We used to work together. When I left, he chose not to come, and he's very, very loyal. So I had him over, and I haven't approached him about working with me, and I've had my own company for, many, many years. And so I changed to eXp, and I didn't tell anybody for about the first 8 months. I just started telling people about 4 months ago. And so I had him over, and what I did was I had him tell me all the things he likes about real estate. So I put likes on one side, then I had him tell me all the things that he dislikes about real estate, and I put it on the other side. And then I went through each point individually, and I talked to him about how eXp could help with what he likes and how it will help with what he dislikes. So for example, one of the things that he said was that, I don't like that every single year I have to start over from scratch, right? Everything starts from scratch as far as my income, and I work so hard, and then it's like the year comes and I got to start over again. And I says, well, with the eXp, when you start doing agent attraction, the average agent stays for 5 years, and our goal within our organization is to have them stay for even longer. So we combated that issue. And he's coming over. He told his broker yesterday, him and his wife cried on my table. Number one, because I've been friends with him for 35 years. I've never once talked to him about trying to change companies. And I just said, listen, if you don't do this, in 15 years, you're going to be in a world of hurt because you're 49 years old. He has no retirement. He has made the same amount of income for the past 10 years solid, and nothing is going to change. And it really, really hit him, right, by doing it that way. And so him and his wife are coming over. I'm super happy because I know that this is going to change his life. He needs to start thinking about having retirement and having a passive income. So, if that helps.
Totally does. And I want to change gears for just a minute. And Tina, I see you typing in the box. So if there was questions I missed, Tina, if you want to scroll back and see if there's any good questions. But so Krista, if you guys don't have a copy of her book, it's Sell 100 Homes a Year. Like, she's a coach and a trainer, amazing social media, video training, just fantastic trainer. Okay, Jeff ran a 35-person independent brokerage, and Tina runs a large team, super producer. Like, everyone on stage, granted, sells a lot. And Krista's also an agent. She sells a lot of houses, right? Jeff is also an agent, sells a lot of houses. This is a productivity-focused recruitment, agent attraction session. Same time, I want to know, if you guys weren't you, we took you to a brand new state where you had zero, no one knew who you were, right? We took you to a brand new state where you didn't know a bunch of agents. You weren't you. You were just an agent starting out, and you're selling a couple houses. I want to know who wants to start. Let me turn around. I can see you guys. Not that you can wave your hands really, but who wants to? Chinny, you want to start? What would you do first?
So I think that's an amazing question because I think about it all the time. My agents have this mental block sometimes that are, oh, well, you're Tina and you've been successful, so that's why you're doing better. But the reality is, I don't know if I saw Dan Hillsman in the room. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago, and Dan sells, 6 to 12 homes a year. He's a rock star and has a team of 350 agents. What Dan has that most people don't is that he will not give up. He's got consistent efforts that are daily. So if I was a brand new agent in a market, first of all, I would study my craft. And I think a lot of agents, I see it to this day, like, oh, I want to recruit. Okay, tell me the top 5 people in the company. Tell me the stories. Tell me about Gene Frederick. Tell me about Brent Gove. Tell me about every single player at eXp, because guess what? I have studied my craft. I have studied the company, the stats. I am learning about this company every single day. So when I am in front of an agent, I can fix their pain points, or I can take them to a leader in my upline. If I didn't have the, let's say, sales record that I have, I would be taking everybody to a Jay Kinder, or Mike Reese, to Jesse, to Krista, to Jeff. Somebody that is doing more than you. Your job is not to spew eXp on people. Your job is to solve their problems. Hey, if I could, would you? If I could get you an appointment with Krista, who's a top trainer in the industry, for 15 minutes to help you solve 2 things in your business, would you take that meeting? That person would be ridiculous to say no. So your job is not to sell eXp. Your job is to put them in front of people that can help them by creating a partnership. So that's how I would do it.
And also utilize your people in your organization that are above you, right? Utilize the people that are above you, offer value. I can tell you my whole company, both in real estate and in coaching, has led by offering value. Value starts first. The more you give, the more you shall receive. When you give somebody something that truly can help them, they are so thankful of it. And buy them a book, or send them, listen to what they're telling you. I know that Jesse sent Jeff. First of all, I sucked at recruiting Jeff. Jesse did it for me, but Jesse sent Jeff this poster thing, whatever it was, Jesse, but he does things like that. Jesse also bought, I'm not saying to do this, but he bought somebody an iPhone that is a major influencer when their iPhone broke.
So that was before eXp, right? That was, wow. This is something I've been doing for years, and we'll talk about that.
Although Jesse's never bought me a present. Let me just say that, and Jesse brought me in.
Yeah, I got a banner. Jesse, somebody else got an iPhone. That's pretty great.
Well, I got nothing, Jeff. So you got a lot more than I did.
You got me, so you can thank Jesse.
That's true. Jesse got me you. That's so true. We love you too.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So Ian just asked in the chat box, and I want to say this out loud. Ian said, what other conversation starter scripts do you have? And I want to go back to someone who typed in the chat box. So Tina, we can come to you on this, and then Jeff or Krista, if you want to jump in. Tina mentioned at first she sold houses during the day and she did agent attraction at night. I also do agent attraction at night, but I just do agent attraction all day long because I'm obsessed. So I love late at night when my 5-year-old's sitting in bed and I'm in his room waiting for him to fall asleep in the dark. I'm on Facebook and I'm messaging people, and I'm mainly messaging people around eXp recruitment. They don't know it's eXp recruitment. I'm not vomiting eXp. I'm just messaging people. And the most common question I ask, it's the simplest question ever. Hey, so-and-so, thanks for the friend request, if it's a brand new request. Or, hey, so-and-so, long time no talk. How's life, ? Leave a blank space. How's biz, ? That's it. It's like, that's the best cold opener ever. How's life? How's biz? You just want to get them talking. That's really all I do. Tina, what about you? What do you do on social media or anything for agent attraction late at night?
So I get a lot of people at friend request, and of course I'm just kind of constantly cleaning out my 5,000 or whatever friends. And like you, if somebody messages me, my first thing is not ignore them, is just say, hey, how do we know one another? You look familiar to me. And maybe I met them at a training event 5-10 years ago. I mean, I've met thousands of agents. So it's just kind of that opening line, like, how do we know each other? And usually that person will say, oh, well, we don't. I saw something that you did, or I, admire you on social media, or they're another eXp agent and they just wanted to learn whatever. And so then, we just start that conversation. But it's just, it's liking people's stuff. It's asking about life. It's not talking about eXp.
I love it. And Krista, I'm assuming you have something to jump in here. What do you do with social media for agent attraction?
Well, I create funnels. So we've built 4 different funnels, which we haven't even launched yet. for agent attraction. And the process is this. So basically we get them to go to a training where it's pure value, talks all about social media and video and how to expose yourself to the masses and how most agents aren't using video correctly. So we don't even talk EXP. So it's an hour and 15 minutes of just pure give. And then at the end of it, we say, hey, if you'd like to learn how to partner with me, then go to, this other website called, this other website. And so then that's a Q&A where we talk about EXP, we talk about how they can coach with me. And by doing that, like I said, we've brought in, 98 agents in under 4 months just from that strategy. And we haven't launched our funnels yet. So then now we're going to be launching funnels around agent attraction and sending them to our list.
And let me jump in for 1 sec, Krista. For those of you in the audience, or hold on, mute yourself up for a sec, Krista.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. For those of you in the audience, know that in case you joined us late, Krista has a coaching company. She's been training agents for years, so she's not running traffic to EXP when she says funnel. She's just driving traffic to her coaching company like she always has. If those of you in the audience, there's 363 of you, maybe a couple of you are coaches, most of you are not. You can take the same idea and drive traffic to anything of helpful content. What we're driving traffic to, it's an hour-and-a-half webinar on how to do social media with funnels and video. Like, it's not an EXP training. That's what she's driving traffic to, something at the top, basically. It's all using social media to drive traffic to helpful content. Is that a good summary, Krista?
Yeah, absolutely. And someone just said, how do I manage your social media with running your business and agent attraction? I have really great systems in place, and I'm the video person. I don't know if you guys know that I teach video, and we love video. So in my real estate business this year, we'll sell, I think, around 90 homes, and I work on that business about 3% of the time, all because of video. So we take the video, we properly distribute it, so we get tons of eyes on it, and then we bring people through a process. And so now it's the point where I don't even have to show up to that. So agent attraction is not that difficult either when you do it this way, meaning I'm not talking one-on-one to people. We're getting, 10, 30 people on a webinar every single week from watching a training that was really, really helpful, right? So I send them a training that's very, very helpful, and you all have something like that. So let's just say there's something that you're really, really good at, and there's a skill that you could use to help people. So you get people on that training, and they watch the training that's just all about value. And then you say, hey, if you'd like to learn how to work with me more, we're having another training tomorrow where you can ask me questions, live training. Right now, the training that they watch first, it isn't even live. It's on a webinar. It's called Webinar Jam. So it's it just runs automatically. Now my students, not my students, but my people in my organization, they also use that same strategy. They give my presentation, that's me, that's all about value. They send them a copy of my audiobook and my digital book. And then they say, hey, would you like to, meet Krista in person and realize how you can partner with her? Then they get on a call with me and Jesse, and we talk all about EXP and we show them all the resources that we provide. So like if you were to go to, and all of you should create this, it's been so wonderful for us. So if you go to KristaMashore.com/partner resources, you can see all the things that we offer people when they join our organization. So basically what happens is that our students, our team members go to KristaMashore.com/partner resources. There they've got 2 copies of my books that they can give to anyone they want. They've got the audiobooks. We've got the schedule of all the trainings that we offer, both with Jesse and with myself. We've got trainings on agent attraction, accountability trainings. They can see all these things that they're getting. Now we have an agent attraction boot camp that Jesse and I are creating. I talked to somebody, they're like, look, I know you're worried that, you don't have an office, but we meet Monday through Friday with our organization. And here's what, Jesse taught scripting on Monday. Today, Krista taught her listing presentation process. And then you've got, so, when you can show them that, all the things that they get, and you can offer more value than the current broker that they're at, it's so easy. And here's the thing, so many brokerages offer things like, training and support, but they don't really, right? So the common denominator is really making sure that when you even find people, that you've got people that love to help people, that love to help people, and that want to, just add as much value to them as possible, because my friend that just is coming over, that loves his broker, she's one of his best friends, who was crying in my kitchen, said, Krista, I know that you can help me. So like, I've got to do this. I've got to do this for my family. People will leave even when they're happy, when they know you can provide more value and when they know you care. They don't care about you or what you can do until they know you care, right? So I think that's what's been so successful for Jesse and I, is that, you know, my people in my organization, they have my cell phone, they call me, you know, they call Jesse, and they know that when they go to that training, that Jesse and I are going to have so much enthusiasm. And I'll tell you what, I didn't even know anything about eXp when I first joined. I joined just for the brokerage aspect of it, because I'm coaching, you know, full time. I didn't want the liability of it. And just as Tina said, I spent 2 months really just watching every video I could ever imagine. And all of a sudden one day the light bulb finally went off. And once that light bulb went off, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to tell everybody, because I feel like I know every agent needs this so bad. And once you have that kind of enthusiasm, I mean, it's kind of hard not to, you know, not to just to talk about it and to be really sincere about it. I mean, I had no intention on, you know, going into eXp for recruitment. And now I'm like completely obsessed with it.
So let me oh, hold on, mute yourself. There we go, Kristen. Mute yourself out for again. Let me sum up a couple things for these guys. Oh, there we go. So notice Tina and Krista are saying very, very similar things. They both said when they joined the company, they got obsessed. They're not using the word obsessed. That's my word. I use that in a positive way. They got obsessed with consuming every bit of knowledge they could about eXp, all the details, everything they had, right? And they wanted to learn about this company. So write this down. If you're at home, write this down, guys. You don't go to church to find your faith. You go to church to strengthen your faith. Now, I don't know what eXp video I got that from. I got it from one of the eXp videos I've watched. But you don't go to church to find your faith. Isn't that good, Krista? You don't go to church to find your faith. You go to church to strengthen your faith. If you guys aren't watching an eXp video once a week, I'm talking an agent attraction training. Like, there's so many sites with good trainings. BrentGove.com, he's got a ton of good stuff. I'm sure every organization's got different stuff. You know, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese probably has some stuff. Everybody's got their own resources, but we all have access to the same basic building blocks. And that's where someone was saying, you know, I'm a new agent. I'm not a coach. How do I do this? You don't have to be a coach, right? Find someone in your organization, or heck, leverage eXp's resources. 50 hours a week of live training in eXp, taught by amazing people. This is one team, one dream. You know, someone's saying, are those resources for everybody? I mean, yeah, she just gave you that link. It's going to make more sense to share resources for people that you are connected to, right? But that's the thing. There's no shortage of resources. Every week, eXp is putting out 50 hours of training, 50. That's a lot of training and resources. So let's see what sort of last, to wrap up this panel, and we might keep going for a little while because Don Yoakum, I don't see him in the room yet. So Don, if you're here, let me know that you're in the room, and I don't see your name on the list. So we'll just keep rolling for now. All right. Let's see here. Let's do a couple last questions for these guys, and then we'll, oh, wait, well, this will piggyback on this is one of my questions from the list. So let's start with Jeff. Jeff, any favorite agent attraction training videos you have watched since?
I watch both Krista's and Brent Gove's Model Explain pretty much once a week, because I think the thing that a lot of people get wrong is they think that there's one big thing that makes people switch to eXp. And for me, it wasn't. It was a lot of little things all culminating together. So I don't know if there's that necessary like aha movement, or aha moment rather, that's going to be like, oh, I want to switch because of, you know, healthcare. But for some people, that may be. We focused on when we switched is health insurance, because nobody I know that's like a single person has health insurance if they're a real estate agent. So focusing on understanding a whole picture by watching those videos will help you a ton explain it to everybody.
Yeah, what I actually did was, and again, we just did this in the past 4 months, but you have to be willing to do what other agents aren't willing to do, right? The only difference between successful people and people that are not successful is that they're just willing to do what other people aren't. So there's been plenty of times where I've spent, you know, got up at 3 in the morning on a Saturday to watch these videos. And I'm not the fastest learner. Things take me a while to kind of click. And so, it takes me a bit longer than most. But what I did was I watched Brent Gove's Model Explained, and I could try to figure out how to post my video up here so you guys can feel free to use it and copy it. But I made my own video of Model Explained, and I shortened it, which is basically I think it's like 18 minutes long. And then I took it and I made smaller videos. So I did one about like the napkin that he showed, and I changed it up a bit. And then I did one about just rev share and stock. And so it was smaller. And then again, so if you go to the KristaMashore.com/partner resources, you can see my Model Explained video. You can see how I broke it up. You can see exactly what we give to our agents to show everybody else. Another thing that we did is when I joined, I said, Jesse, why don't we have some training that's Monday through Friday that we can give to people? So Jesse and I put together a training that's Monday through Friday from 8 to 8:30. Jesse trains every Monday. I train every Wednesday, and we just completely blow people out of the water. We allow our agents that are in our organization to bring people to that, so then they can go and they can learn from us, which then now they're able to see who the leaders are that they're going to have access to. And they say, hey, when you join with me, you get Krista and Jesse and all these other people. So it really, really works out really well. All of you could start one of those, right? And hey, someone just said, I'm not Krista. I don't know what you mean by that, but here's the deal. My own brother said that to me. He goes, well, Krista, it's because it's you. And I said, that's BS. That is just an excuse. Anybody can lead with value. It's just a matter of you, finding somebody within your organization. I mean, for God's sake, you can give them, my book if you want to. Give them a book on Gary Keller's. Give them, no, don't give him Gary Keller's. He's not with eXp, but give them something, right? Something that's going to really, really add value to them. Learn something. Get good at a skill that you then can teach people. Maybe you're a master at doing listing presentations. Maybe you're great with buyers. Maybe you're great with scripts. I don't know, but just get used to teaching. And you don't have to be somebody who is outgoing or who is an extrovert. You can absolutely be an introvert and be excited about what you're doing and be able to help somebody. But that's just what worked so well with us.
And to add to that, I think that you have to realize that you don't have to know this stuff. Krista, you guys know.
Oh God, sorry.
So you don't have to be an expert at this stuff. Say you're a brand new agent, you just joined eXp last week. Go into the trainings, learn something, and share it with somebody. You're not trying to be the expert, but sharing valuable information with people invokes the law of reciprocity, and that gets people excited about you. If you do something nice for somebody and give them something that will help them, they will feel indebted to you. So don't get obsessed with, oh, I'm not a perfect agent, nobody wants to listen to me. That's in your own head. If you offer value to people in whatever way you can, that will attract agents to you.
I have a really good idea for all of you. And it's this. So this is what we talked to our agents about this morning. And I'm looking the wrong way. What I would do, sorry guys, my thing is I'm not good at this, but what I would do is I would make a commitment. And I would do it first thing in the morning to just talk to one person a day. If you made a commitment to just talk to one person a day regarding agent attraction, without it being all cheesy and, hey, you like eXp? No, talk to one agent a day about real estate, okay? Not call 5, not call 20, talk to one. Number one, it's going to help you be better on your game in real estate because you are learning about the market, right? Talk to one agent. Get to know them, ask how things are, and then ask them what brokerage they're with. They're going to ask you what brokerage you're with, and then start talking about all the wonderful things you love. What I would do is this today. I would go on social media and I'd say, oh my gosh, I just went to eXpCon. It was free. We learned about blah, 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 blah. Talk to them, let them know what you've got. And we're not pushing eXp, but talk about a training. Be a reporter on social media, be a reporter to other people. And what I mean by that is be somebody that when you learn something, you teach it, right? Learn something, teach it. And then once you get people into your organization, make darn sure I think it's more important to keep people in and keep them well taken care of and keep them supported, even more than it is to bring them in, right? That partner, KristaMashore.com/partner resources, we had that built in 2 months. I mean, we didn't have it 4 months ago, and all of a sudden we were like, we need more. How do we help our agents? And bam, we had that built, right? So you guys can do all that too. It's just a matter of kind of thinking differently. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Can you guys hear me now? Let's see. Hold on. Can you hear me or no?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. My EXP world crashed in the middle of being on stage leading a panel. So I'm just going to acknowledge, hey, this company is pushing the forefronts of what it means and what it's like to push technology. Things like that are going to happen. Imagine if you were talking in front of real people, Tina, and I just like passed out in the middle of people and then woke up in the back of the room. That's kind of what just happened. Anyway, all right, so we're going to bring on Don Yoakum because people are asking how long does this panel go? This panel actually the whole session goes until 10:30. So another 25 minutes. At that point in time, Carlos German's going to come on with an amazing panel, including Brent Gove and Dan Hilsman. But I want to give Tina, so Tina, if you got one or two sentences of like, if you had advice you just want to leave them with, right? I want Tina to give him something. And Don Yoakum, if you're in the room, you want to come down here on stage. Tina, what's your final advice you want to give to this crew?
Yeah, I mean, just what Krista was saying, it's like, I feel like it's speed to getting things up and running and coming from massive value. So we did the same thing. We started YouTube pages. I mean, people are signing up going, I'm naming you my sponsor because I connected with you from YouTube. I loved your story. You guys have to tell stories. You have to show positive messages. You have to show them the life that they could have here without being creepy. So it's just really about coming from a place of contribution and excitement and love. And I think people will just resonate. And again, you've got to put the systems in place, just like running a real estate business. If you're going to do agent attraction, you better treat it like a business.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Don Yoakum, are you here on stage? Let's see if Don is here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. He is on stage. All right. So Tina, Krista, Jeff, you guys are welcome just to hang out and ask Don questions if you want. If you guys want to go to the audience, whatever you want to do. Round of applause for Tina, for Krista, and Jeff. Thank you guys for being here. So much good knowledge, so much good stuff. I really, really, truly appreciate you guys. I love this company. Now, Don, yay, we're here with some clapping. All right, cool, love it. So Don, we've got about 25 minutes. So whatever much time you need. If you guys don't know Don Yoakum was a professional windsurfer who decided to hang it up and open real estate brokerages. And he owned over 30 Keller Williams real estate offices prior to coming to eXp. So he knows a lot about recruitment and building agents. He also knows a lot about productivity and helping agents sell houses. This talk that I heard him do last week, it really blends the two. It blends the world of selling houses and also finding time to do agent attraction. Let's see here. Trying to figure out how to get this off camera. So Krista, if you want to turn your camera off, you just on the presenter tool, you should be able to just click the little camera icon and shut it off. Don, if you ever use the camera tool, you're welcome to turn your camera on. You want to be up on the main screen here?
Yeah, let's see if I can get myself there.
Click on any of the screens and then click the camera icon. And we're going to do this is called EXP by the numbers. I'll be sitting up here on stage, Don, in case you want to do any Q&A questions. I'll read from the box. But Don's just going to rock and roll for the next few minutes and break down step by step. If your goal is to build a massive revenue share organization and you want to figure out how to do that in a pretty easy way, Don's going to walk you through how to do it while still selling houses. I love this stuff. All right, so Don.
All right, I believe I'm coming up on Krista's screen here. Give me just a moment.
All right.
I did enable the webcam.
You can use the main screen.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get off it. That little presenter tool is gone and I can't figure it out. So my apologies. I'm working on it.
You probably have to walk back up on stage to do it, Krista, is my guess.
Yeah, she does have to walk back up on stage. That's what I had to do.
And those of you watching, this is the fun, right? This is the fun of doing a live presentation in eXp World, which I actually really love. Like this technology here, I'll turn my camera back on here so you can see me while we're waiting in the middle. I have done a lot of events in the real world. I've been the MC of 400, 500 person events many times. I love this. I think this is really fun. There's something about I'm sitting at home in San Diego. You guys are whatever city you're in, whatever state you're in, and we're all getting to hang out without having to get on a plane, without having to worry about COVID, all things. It's incredible. So Don, without further ado, if we can't get you, we got your camera going. There you are. Hey, Don.
Hey, good morning.
All right, dude, I'm turning this over to you.
All right. So Jesse asked me to speak to you about eXp by the numbers. And people will tell you that I am a numbers guy, have a great appreciation for them. Although I would tell you, even though I'm going to give you eXp by the numbers, real estate is first and foremost a relationship business. And I'm going to talk to you about the numbers that resonate with me with EXP, and then the numbers that you'll want to use to build your organization on the EXP platform. So my story in EXP and the numbers begins just over 4 years ago. Brent Gove was, I should say, I got one of those infamous calls from him asking for advice on the business model because I had been one of the iconic folks in the KW organization, and Brent had also been a KW team leader, actually in the same office that I originally built. And he was calling me to take a look at this new business model, and he was thinking about making the crazy move from from KW rather. So I did, and I got to tell you, as Jesse had mentioned, I had owned a number of real estate franchises with Keller Williams, and the model just seemed too good to be true. I mean, I didn't understand how they could provide such a competitive compensation and provide stock and do revenue share. And so I didn't quite have my arms around the economic model. And but I could tell from Brent's enthusiasm, and of course, Brent is such a dynamic person, that my message to him was, you know, Brent, it seems a little bit too good to be true, but I'm sure you're going to be successful. And of course, we know that did prove to be true. And so I put it on the back burner. I did not join at that point. And what I did is I was up in the Northwest. I was a regional VP for a lender at that time. And I got a call from Randy Bird, who was working with Brent. And Brent, the next number that resonated with me was 100,000. Brent was now making over $100,000 a month. And this had only been about 18 months after he had originally introduced me to the idea of EXP. And I can recall at that time saying to my wife, Katrin, that, gosh, you know, maybe we should take another look at that EXP thing. Brent's now making over $100,000 a month. And so I started doing a little more due diligence, and I had been in business. You might recognize this name. I had launched my Cupertino and Palo Alto franchise with a gentleman by the name of Gene Frederick, who of course had joined EXP when there was only 400 agents about 6 years ago, and was now on the board. And in a prior life, Gene had been a CPA, so I knew he knew his numbers. And matter of fact, when I was doing my due diligence for Keller Williams, I had flown out to Dallas Preston Road, and Gene took me through the financials of KW, and I got comfortable with that, and of course went on to become their top franchisee. But you know, I just shared with Gene that the EXP model was very intriguing to me, but just seemed too good to be true. And could he help me to understand the model? Because, you know, truth be told, I didn't want to put a bunch of effort into a new thing and then have it go away. So, you know, and of course, all my old cronies at KW were saying that the EXP model was not sustainable. And so I just really, before I was willing to make a commitment, I really needed to understand the structural components of the economic model. And Gene really helped me to do that. And coincidentally, EXP was also right at that time. This was April 2018. They were just being accepted on NASDAQ. And they had been a publicly traded company, but really not much more than a penny stock. And I just thought, well, gee, you know, NASDAQ has accepted them. They must have at least a reasonable economic model. And Gene was able to help me to better understand that, in fact, and this is a key phrase that I want you to take away from my message to you, what eXp had effectively done is stripped out of the real estate brokerage model the costs that did not add value to the consumer. So what in the heck does a bricks and mortar office have to do with getting a home sold, right? Absolutely nothing. And because they had stripped those costs out, they were able to provide a competitive compensation. They were able to give stock and revenue share. And not only was this model sustainable, but it was certainly more durable than the bricks and mortar models that I had become accustomed to. And just for perspective, by the way, when Brent joined at 2,250 agents, a little over 4 years ago, they were already cash flow positive. When I ultimately joined, which was the summer of 2018, they were adding over $2 million to their balance sheet. And now, of course, we have 38,000 agents, more than 3 times when I joined, just over 2 years ago, and we're adding about 5 million a month to our balance sheet. And so, one of the things that I think about is when I had my Keller Williams offices, if we would be impacted, let's say with a 25% decline in revenue, that would have a pretty catastrophic effect on my P&L. The KW model is a very high volume, low margin model anyway. And so 25% decline in revenue would essentially take you from nominal profit to break even or even a loss. Well, remember, we had 10,600 people when I joined the company. Today we have 38. So one of the things that I share with people is I go, well, if we have a real estate apocalypse and half of the agents go away tomorrow, first of all, we wouldn't have the average agent go away. We would probably have more of the bottom half agents go away. We would have 19,000 agents, almost double what we had when I joined, and we were adding 2 million in our balance sheet. Now, would we have to right size our staff? Of course we would. But we would do that in an appropriate amount of time, and we would go back to being profitable again at that new right-sized level. My point being is that we can adjust. Our model is designed in such a manner that we can adjust to whatever the market is demanding and do it with much greater speed and flexibility than a bricks and mortar enterprise. So anyway, of course I joined. It's been an amazing experience. Don, yes, Jesse.
Because I don't want you to run out of time, because there was a part of the talk that you covered the other day, and you're probably going to get here right now, but just can I jump you ahead? Because I want you to make sure you cover, this is the group we're talking to sells a lot of houses, or some of them are focused on productivity, selling houses. And the idea of some easy steps they can take to do agent attraction while also selling houses. And you had a part in the talk I heard the other day where you were talking about by the numbers, the X amount a day, what they're doing. Can you break down that part for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is where I'm going.
Oh, good. I thought so.
So thank you. So one of the things interestingly enough, the very same strategy that I give my apprentices when I'm mentoring them, when they're setting up their business, when I'll have somebody come in, I'll say, okay, we need you to have a database of 120 people. I break a quarter into 60 days. And so I want you calling 2 people a day. I want you coming from a place of contribution. And I want you to call them as a real estate resource. You don't need to do heart surgery on day 1, meaning you don't need to buy or sell the property. They only do that about every 7 or 10 years. But odds are they're going to need a painter, plumber, roofer, or landscaper. So call as a real estate resource. Well, and I actually have 4 different calls that I train my folks to do. One is real estate resource. Another is having a conversation with them about investing in real estate. And is that part of their retirement strategy? And if so, what does that look like? What would be a freedom amount for them? And may I help them, guide them to get to that point? So that's call number 2. Call number 3 is a dream home conversation. And I ask them if they're living in their dream home. If they're not, what does that look like? Or if they don't have a dream home, they usually have a second home that they want to have. And so I'll take copious notes on that, and I'll find that home for them once a year, and I'll send them a link to it, and they will, and I'll just say something like, "Hey Jesse, gosh, I was on the internet. I saw this home. This looks just like your dream home. Is that still your dream? And is there anything I can do to help make that possible?" And so that's call number 3. Call number 4 is I invite them to an event. Okay, so what Jesse's talking about, how do I then apply this to agent attraction? Well, now when I have somebody join me in eXp, I have them go through exactly the same protocol. So they join, and I first ask them to identify their top 12 people, meaning who are the 12 real estate people that I would most want to be in business with. And then I have them build a total list of 120, just like they would for their personal sphere. Of course, this is their professional sphere. And it's 120 realtors. And, you know, as a realtor, I don't know how many Facebook friends I have as realtors throughout the country, but it's probably over 1,000 or something. Anyway, not difficult to come up with 120. And what I want you to do is I want you to do it at just in the same manner. I want you to call as a real estate resource. But before you assume that they need help, what I would recommend you do to lead the conversation, you're talking to somebody you probably casually know, or maybe you're even just connected with them on real estate because you're both in real estate. I would just call them up and just say, hey, how's it going, Jesse? You know, I know this has been a crazy year. What's it been like in San Diego? And what's been working for you? So start off being interested in what they're succeeding at. They're going to naturally feel comfortable talking about that. And then I would say, man, that's fantastic. I think I could maybe apply some of that here. Is there anything that has challenged you this year? And so then Jesse might share a challenge that he's having. So then my job at that point is to see what I can do to be a resource for them. Can I connect him to an agent that I know that is successful in an area where he feels challenged? Can I connect him to a coach, or can I connect him to a product or a service? Bottom line is I want to add value to Jesse in some way. So that is, note, the real estate resource call. The second thing that I want to lead into a conversation with Jesse about is I want to ask him when his freedom day is. In other words, he thought about, you know, I know that he's very successful in real estate and he sure seems to enjoy doing it, but is there a day that he has picked out when he would like to have the option? I didn't say obligation or forced retirement, but is there a day that he would consider his freedom day? In other words, would he like to have the option of retiring 5 years from today, 10 years from today, whatever the case may be? And so hopefully he'll give me a date. And then the next thing is I would want to, so that's my question too. What is your freedom date? And what is your freedom amount? And I want you to notice this is a lot like our investment conversation, right? And it'll be interesting, first of all, to hear whether or not he actually has those two amounts. And if he doesn't, he might come up with them on the fly. And if they don't have them, help them that. Well, you know, like some people might have, they want to retire by a certain age, you know, 40, 50, 60, whatever the case may be. And they'll probably have a pretty good idea of how much money they would need in order to have financial freedom. So once I've got the date, then I'm going to ask him, and do you feel like you have a plan that is going to lead you there? Now, I want to point out to you guys that there is no brokerage besides eXp that could realistically give you a freedom day. Okay. All the other places that we can broker our transactions are going to give us an opportunity to have a earned income. And we all know, if you've been a successful realtor, that's a ticket to get up and jump on a treadmill every single day. And at every closing, we're unemployed and we get up and we do it again. Okay. Now, to be fair, there is another path to get out of real estate gracefully, and that is to invest in real estate and to invest in notes secured by real estate. And I got to tell you, my folks have done that. So it is possible. The trick is it takes 20 to 30 years to do that. And you're going to be talking to a lot of people. Well, first of all, the average age of a realtor is roughly 54 years old. And so most people don't want to take another 20 years. And right now we're at the top of the real estate cycle. So it wouldn't necessarily be a good time to lever up. And so what a great opportunity to go into a no risk business and build a passive income with eXp. And so here's what this looks like. If you guys will call 2 people a day, just like I have my apprentices do that, 5 days a week, 60 days a quarter, and you have that be a practice for 2 years. So you're adding 2 new people a day. In your first quarter, you're going to reach 120. By the second, you'll have 240. By the third quarter, you would be at 360, but I actually recommend you keep it to 300. So you never have to call more than 5 people in a day. That's 5 dials. You might have 1 or 2 contacts, by the way. I don't want you to ever have to do anything that would require more than 1 hour in a day, but I do want you to time block it. So you're going to have 5 hours a week time blocked in your schedule. And the other rule I have is you don't get to decide on the day of the call who you're going to call. You decide at least 1 business day ahead, and you use one of those 4 calls that I gave you: a real estate resource, what is your freedom day, what is your freedom amount, and then the 4th one, by the way, is to invite them to an event. And again, we're patterning right after exactly what you would do with your sphere of influence. So if you do that, you're going to recruit at least 1 person a month. In 2 years, you're going to have a foundation of 24, 25 people. From that, you're going to have 1 business builder, and you're going to build 3 years from that day an organization of 500 people. And we make about $812 per agent per year. 500 is going to make you 460,000. I tell them, hey, just so that we're covered on this, why don't you figure that your organization will net you at least 250. So make sure that your freedom number doesn't require more than that. And that's a real easy plan, and that's something that is sustainable and that they could just keep going in perpetuity. By the way, in 60 months, this is a 5-year plan. You're gonna get, by the way, about 1 business builder for every 20 people that you attract to the company. So in 60 months, you will have attracted 60 people. You're going to have 3 business builders. And what's crazy about this business model, another way to look at it, is that for every business builder that you get, assuming that you're wide enough to capture the income, you will typically have a 6-figure passive income. If you get 2 business builders, which you would statistically get from 40 recruits, you're going to get to $250,000. And if you get 3 business builders in your organization, you're going to end up with a 7-figure passive income. So it's just amazing what's possible with this business model. It doesn't require $80,000 to buy a rental property. You can just go out and attract 1 person. So Jesse, I believe that's the piece you want to do.
That was it.
Make sure I covered.
That was it. That was spot on, and you were right on time. Okay, so turn around, Don, and look at the audience. Right? Look at if you can move your little avatar already, look at the audience. Now look at everybody out there. Is there anyone in this room that is not capable of doing what you just said? Anybody?
Oh my gosh.
So good to talk to you. Love you.
Right?
Absolutely. 100%. You know, it is, everybody can time block 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, and make that phone ring 2 times a day. Okay. And I remember, this is all about things that you can control. I'm just asking that you're very intentional about it. You plan at least 1 business day ahead. And go ahead and stalk them a little bit. Go find out what's going on in their life. You're probably Facebook friends with them, so that you can speak to what is personal to them. In other words, be really interested in them. Don't go into the call trying to sell your agenda. Like I said, I want you to come to the call coming from a place of contribution as a real estate resource. by the way, I mean, Jesse and we're not in the same organization, but we're constantly networking and introducing different people to each other, right? And
Don,
so you guys can do that too.
Yeah, you're blowing people's minds. So I know we got to let Carlos up here. We got another panel about to start. So if you look back at this chat box, Don, people are saying this is the most concise agent attraction plan they've ever seen. Amazing content. I believe this is recorded. I just saw it was going to be posted in the eXp YouTube channel, so you can go back and rewatch this. Don does a training once a week here in eXp World that is free, right, Don? Like people can come join your training. Don will put in the chat where to get it, what time it is. I mean, like Don and I said, Don and I are not partners. We're not even aligned except for in the global sense that everyone at eXp is aligned. It's
one team, one dream.
Yes, one team, one dream. One team, one dream. So Don, thank you for being here. There we go. I'll end with my backflip. I can't do a backflip in real life, but I can do one in eXp World, which is pretty fun. Did you guys catch that?
Let me just announce to these guys, since you mentioned it, and I'd love to have any and all of you come, is every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, we're in eXp World from 9 to 9:30. Today I was interviewing Pete Dininger from Breckenridge, Colorado on building a lifestyle real estate brand. But we have best practices every week, and we hope to see you there.
And
Thanks, Jesse.
That's Pacific Standard Time, correct?
It is.
Okay, awesome. Guys, Don, thank you so much. Clap, clap, clap. I know that's hard for everybody to clap, but I'm sure at home you're hearing clapping. Carlos German, are you in the room, Carlos?
Absolutely, absolutely. This was fire. I'm like fired up, brother. You guys crushed it. Amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you for bringing some value. I'm looking forward to piggybacking onto this and continue to add massive value to the group here today. So appreciate you, and yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Thank you, Carlos. Enjoy, guys. And you guys are by the way, if you don't know who Carlos German is, his energy is amazing. His content is incredible. He's built a massive revenue share organization, and he has put together a special panel for you guys called Limitless, which truly the next I think it's an hour and a half, correct, Carlos?
That is correct. The
next hour and a half is going to be fire. It's going to be amazing. I was trying to figure out where the high five key is here on here. I don't know where it is. So just high five to you. There you go. High five on camera. Carlos, enjoy, man. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Jesse. All right, guys. So a few housekeeping items. I know a lot of you have been here and through the morning session, so I won't drag it out. But the stage Zoom next to the chat is the feature you want to use if you're a little bit towards the back and you want to get your zoom in to the crowd and to the panel that we're going to have here on stage. You also want to make sure you remain muted unless we call you out. And we want to bring a ton of energy into the chat. We're going to be giving away 5 books from Brent Gove, 5 copies of Momentum. And so you make sure that you're fired up, you're geared up to engage with us. And we're going to pick some of you who are engaging in the chat, who are engaging with energy, and who are here interacting. We want to make sure that you're plugged in. With that, I'm going to have our panelists come on up. So Brent Gove is one of the most amazing, biggest heart influencers in the company. He's going to be joining us. We have Jennifer Encarnacion, who has grown a massive eXp organization while still in the trenches and working and, building her business and being a proud mom. We got Dan Guzman, who is also, another awesome producer that is in the trenches, but has grown an organization of around 400 people. We got Alex Haig, we have Ken Williams, and we are going to bring the value. So let's say hi, guys. Brent, Jennifer, Alex. I don't see Ken here yet, but he'll get here. I know he's in the room. So let's say hi to the crowd, Brent.
What's going on, everybody? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm stoked to do the panel with all these other champions, Jennifer, Alex, Dan, Ken, and of course, Carlos. Man, if you don't know Carlos, get to know Carlos. What a great story he has. That's why he's running the panel. But I'm fired up.
Brent, you look great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Very good. Let's see. Alex, you want to say hi to the crowd? All right, let's see. Let's go with Jennifer. Jennifer, go ahead.
Hey, I hope that lots of people get out of this what, you came here to look for. My name is Jennifer Encarnacion in Orlando, Florida. I am part of the great Carlos German's downline. And I'm really looking forward to, just being an open book for you. And yeah, let's keep killing it, y'all.
Awesome. So for the panelists and for everybody in the crowd, like if you're not speaking, let's hit mute. That way there's less feedback. And Dan, go ahead. Let's unmute yourself and introduce yourself, bro.
Hey everybody, I'm super grateful to be here today and just ready to share anything and everything that I've learned along the way. I'm a student of the game, so anything I know I'm happy to share, and hope you get a lot of value. Thank you.
Hey Carlos.
Yes, Ken, how's it going?
It's going good. Not going to let any technical difficulties. I'm going to speak out of the body of Vanessa from her computer while she works on mine so I can jump on stage, but I'm here ready to share my passion, what I'm going through, and am I willing not to let anything stop me, including computer issues right now.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. And that's how we do. We make it happen no matter what. Awesome. All right. So if you guys, have been to any of, my classes, my meetings, or anything that I do, I like to start with amazing positive focus. So I'm going to play a video, and, I'm going to play this little video, and I want you, when you're watching the video or when the video is done, I want you to put in the chat the first thing that comes to your mind, how you're feeling, what you're grateful for, how you're going to stay in peak performance here on this day. So I'm going to put that on the screen here in the center, and we're going to play it for you guys and get you into that peak state of emotion.
There are some things in your life that will make you run. There are certain things that will happen in your life that make you pick up the pace, that slap you out of your stupor and say, this ain't no time to cry. You gotta run. You gotta run. You gotta run. You can't just wake up in the morning and let me see what's.
All right, looks like we're getting a tech issue here. Let's see what's going on. Let me claim ownership of this thing so that nobody. All right, let's see. Eyes on the prize. Love it, love it, love it. I know we have a couple of staff members here, so if any of the staff members wants to hop on here and help out, let me know. All right, somebody said the link, post the link. Let's do that. Let's post the link right here. I want you to check out that video and get into that trends for me. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's definitely not the video. All right, now we got this under control.
There are some things in your life that will make you run. There are certain things that will happen in your life that make you pick up the pace, that slap you out of your stupor and say, this ain't no time to cry. You gotta run. You gotta run. You gotta run. You can't just wake up in the morning, let me see what's gonna happen today. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna wear. I don't know what I'm gonna cook. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I just woke up. Oh, you should stay in the bed. Give the day to somebody who's gonna run after their destiny. Give the day to somebody who has a plan, who has a strategy, because success is never an accident. And if you don't want it, get out of my way. Because there are some people who want to do something with their life, who will run. I would rather aim for the stars and not hit them than to not aim at all. I would rather go after it and not get it than not go after it at all. I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. I don't want to live with the idea, wonder what would have happened had I done more with my life. I'm going to go for it, come hell or high water. I'm going after my destiny. Touch your neighbor and say, run. You got to run after your destiny. You can't stroll after your destiny. You can't walk after your destiny. You got to run. Somebody holler, run. Somebody's late, but you made up your mind. I'm going to start running. I didn't get it till I got to this age, but I'm going to start running. I messed up junior high, but now I'm going to start running. I messed up high school, but now I'm going to start running. The moment you get the word, you ought to run. The Bible said, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. When God gives you a chance at an escape, don't be cute. Run after your liberty. My God, run! Run! Do y'all hear me? Run! Run after your liberty. Run after it. Run after it. Run! Don't be ashamed. Run!
Woo! Who's ready to run? I see that chat blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Let me see that energy. Seeing the names. These are the names that are going to be winning books right here. We see Angela. We see, Sean. We see AZ, Phil. Keep crushing it, guys. So here's the deal. There's no excuse. You guys are here because you want more. You're here because you want to not only crush yourselves, but you want to build a team, you want to grow an organization, and we've assembled a group of agents of all levels so you can relate, so you can learn from their stories, so you can connect with them, so you can feel like this is possible for you. Because at the end of the day, first you have to believe it for yourself, and then you're going to take those actions. Right now, there's a lot of you that are saying, I don't know how to do it, or I'm selling too many houses. I don't have the time. We're right here, right now. We're going to get started with this panel because we are going to bring you different case stories of agents that have done it while being massively successful in the business in sales. And some of them decided to eventually go all in and bring in their revenue share group as the #1 pillar of their business. And I know a lot of you here want to get to that point when you don't have to sell another house. When if you work with the buyers because you choose to, not because you have to, because you have another pillar of your business that's bringing it all. So with that, we're going to start asking the panelists for their stories and where they were before coming to eXp, where they were before being productively insane, becoming a warrior in productivity, so you guys can get those nuggets and start making your own journey. So let's start with Ken Williams right here, who's going to be on a stage and speak out of the body of Vanessa. So go ahead, Ken, and let's tell us a little bit before you found your productivity groove. Where were you? What were you doing? How are you feeling? And what was your life like?
And Carlos, can you hear me?
Perfectly clear. Awesome. Great to have you here, brother.
Yes. And in my own body, it was a little weird, man, when I thought about to hear you ask, I'm trying to figure out, man, how down and dirty can I get with this? But we're all family here. So eXp world, I really hope you allow me to be truthful, be honest with me. And I'm not in no judgment area. I know in our circle, there's no judgment. So with that being said, the best way I could summarize it is I was escaping. I was escaping everything that life had taught me I am not. I was one of those people in doubt. I grew up with 11 brothers and sisters. I didn't know what my own bed felt like on my own until I joined the military. And even then, I had to share that with 30 people in the room. So I think that I spent a good portion of my life leading into my career really, because I always kind of feel people are doing one or two things. They're either moving away from something or moving towards something. And I think I was moving away from things. I was trying to disconnect, trying to reinvent the wheel. I was trying to be something that I was not because I didn't think that I was much of anything. I used everything from my skin color to everything like that. So even when after joining the military, after being a police officer and thinking that the uniforms that I wore was going to make me into something, and then eventually when time moved on and fast forward and getting into real estate before meeting you, I was still escaping. And then I was escaping the 9 to 5. Entrepreneur spirit was not in me yet. I was still escaping something. And when you're, and the reason why I'm emphasizing on the fact that I was in an escape mode, you're not paying attention really, because you got so many things that you're wishing for and hoping for. And I was one of those ones that, you know, Friday was a good day and Monday was a bad day. Why? Because that's what life taught me. You know, if you're going to do this, then you got to do this. You got to keep your goals and your dreams a reality. Don't get too cute. Don't get too cocky. Everything was like, and I think it was like, just take your share. And but I kept feeling like that was not the answer. So I kind of felt like, I was chasing from society's rules, but I felt I had nowhere to go. So I ended up meeting you and joining, Carl's Germany team, even before EXP. And then I started transitioning into the structure. So I would probably say, to sum her up, what I was doing before this was I was running, but I was running away from things. And I think that's what held me up, to get me where I'm at today. So, because when you're too busy running, you're too busy thinking about yourself. And I think that's what I was feeling during that time. So everything was about me. If I had a job, if I did something, I was more or less thinking about me, which was against my natural self. So I never felt good about what I did unless I had a trophy in my hand or an award or something. So I definitely faked it till I made it. I had the resume that looked good. Even you asked me when I interviewed with you, what is it that you think you can do for me? Because it looked like I had it all already. And I was ashamed to tell you at the time that I didn't have joy, I didn't have happiness, and I didn't have peace. I was still running. And even when coming to you, I saw it was coming and running and hiding. And I hope somebody out here could understand. We got a lot of people sitting in this room right now, Carlos, and I know I could feel it, that they are running still. They're not coming here to look and grab and say, I know what I'm missing. They're still trying to just put a checkbox. Okay, I came to eXpCon and I hope somebody does something to make me successful. And they're still not realizing that it's in them. So I stand before you realizing that as long as you're thinking about what you're losing, if you're thinking about who you are by yourself, you're going to always be running, and you're running not towards. So I was just running away until I got here.
Amazing. And I'll echo what's been said in the chat. Thank you so much for service, Ken. Today being Veterans Day, so let's show Ken some love. Amazing. He's done it at multiple levels, and we truly appreciate you. So what I'm hearing here is key, and that is a lot of people run from their destiny and not to their destiny. And sometimes, they need that jolt, that energy to get things into perspective and move in the right direction. So we'll come back to that. Dan, let's go to you. Tell me a little bit about, obviously we're here because we want to share our journey towards, what a lot of people in this crowd want, right? They want growth, they want more, they want to have multiple pillars of revenue to their business. But where were you before, right? Where were you before you actually were able to unlock this true potential?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. So a couple of things, a little bit prior, just a few months prior to EXP, I was doing fine. I'd had my best 2 years back to back. I'm not a mega agent kind of guy. I was doing about 20 deals a year. That was kind of a sweet spot where I felt that I could still be a father and a husband. Never really aspired to sell a couple hundred homes a year. Looking back, what I've learned since I've been at EXP, if somebody would have put their arm around me and said, hey, we can help you double your income and work the same amount of time with putting some systems and some hires in place, that would have been interesting to me. But if someone would have said, you want to sell 40 something homes instead of 20, wouldn't have been too interested. So one day at this company that I was super comfortable at and super happy with, a couple things started happening, which made me look into the company. There's three sides to every story, but my side was I wasn't happy and I knew I had to leave. So I had a lot of pain because I was happy there and comfortable there prior to that event. And a friend came up to me instead of, I mentioned to him I was looking to leave. He said, you heard of eXp Realty? I said, yeah, but I don't think they're in Georgia. Well, I started doing due diligence. I'm a little unusual in that I found my own sponsor. So I had a lot of pain, and when I found eXp and found the gentleman that I designated that would be my sponsor, I had a lot of pleasure. So one reason I'm telling you guys this is I'm the agent. When you get out of this meeting, when you start on your journey or when you continue to talk to agents, I'm the guy you're looking for. You're looking for someone with pain or pleasure, and I had a whole lot of both. The reason I had a lot of pleasure was prior to that day that I realized that I wasn't going to be able to stay at the company I was at, 20 plus years in real estate. And for the first time, I had a paralyzing thought one day sitting at my desk with a list of buyers to call back. Now, I love selling real estate, but the thought was, I don't think I have another 20 years of amendments to address concerns left in me. And that was a scary thought because I thought, well, I don't know what else I could do. I mean, I could probably get a job, but if I got a job, I probably wouldn't be happy there. So I joke with my sponsor, I don't know that I'm hireable. I mean, I think I could get hired, but I probably wouldn't be too happy staying there. After selling real estate for this long and having a lot of flexibility and making all my son's baseball games and being a coach and going to my daughter's cheerleading, I was a little worried that type of lifestyle wouldn't be the same. And I didn't think I could probably get hired on a salary for what I was making selling real estate. So that paralyzing thought scared the crap out of me because I really had no idea for a few minutes there what to do. And I'm a praying man, so it wasn't too long later that I found eXp Realty. That's where a lot of the pleasure came in. I really thought they nailed the model. I thought I could be successful with the model, but I didn't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of things in real estate, and a lot of promises were made to me that either I didn't hold up to my end or the person, tell me they would help me get to the top, didn't hold up to their end. So, when you go out there and start talking to other agents, in my experiences, they're not too interested in hearing about a move or a change unless you show them how much you can help them. And then you have to dig in and find a little pain or a little pleasure within there. So, my first 3 months, I did everything wrong. I talked to a lot of agents and told them a lot of things they didn't want to hear, and talked to a lot of people with a lot of closed gates that probably couldn't wait to get off the phone or get me away from them. But after a little while, I found a few friends that I brought over, started getting a little momentum, and realized I have a passion for helping agents that receive that help that I was looking for. And sometimes I didn't even know I was looking for it. But now I wake up every day, I'm a rejuvenated man. I'm feels like year one in real estate, even though I've been at eXp a little over 2.5 years. And I'm just looking for that next agent that I can help. And then I'm also still out selling a few properties that I've scaled that back a little bit, but it's part of my life. I don't know that I could, it'd take a lot for me not to sell any homes. I'm mostly working with my referral clients, and then I'm trying to help agents and partner up on deals more so than do deals all by myself.
Awesome, amazing. So let me go a little bit into one thing that you mentioned there. So obviously selling homes is still and has been part of your life. Now you're saying find someone like me with pain, right? So you've done an amazing job of finding those agents with that pain. However, you've done it organically, you've done it slowly, but you built a group of around 300 agents or so. How many is it right now?
Yeah, so 381. I personally brought over 42. The real numbers, total transparency here, 42. I still have 35. 4 of them are married, 41. So those 31-ish have built the other 381. Took me a while to get some key people who brought over some key people. The biggest team I brought over is 4. So mostly a single agent kind of attractor. But I'm working on that, I'm practicing and working on the process of attracting up, as they say.
Excellent. So we'll come back to how you did that, the specific strategies of how a single agent who came to eXp without a team and who is not a mega producer, who's not, any keynote, any rock star, found his way slowly but surely into an amazing pillar of his business. So we'll come back to that, guys. Let's go over to another, amazing productivity warrior here, Jennifer Encarnacion, who is building a powerful organization as well. And she's still in production. She's adding amazing value to people's lives. So Jennifer, let's go a little bit into your story and your struggles, and ultimately, before you put it all together, how you have it now. And I know there's still progress, and we're super achievers, so we're always improving. But let's go into that day where you still didn't have it all together, and where were you, what were you doing, and how did it feel?
Well, that is a loaded question. So, all right, I'll be honest, I didn't find EXP. EXP kind of just landed in my lap, and I didn't think it was sexy. But it wasn't sexy. I think it was more an emotional reason why. At that time, my previous brokerage, they actually were converting into EXP. So, which meant my broker / real estate coach was like, hey, Jen, poke holes into this, the classic line. And I was like, bro, what does this mean? You're leaving me? So I thought he was going to retire and take off to like Mexico and just forget about me. And it was really, really hard. So I started venturing off, just to be very honest. I started venturing off and just exploring different brokerages. And that was my thing. I was like, little rebellious child, just out and just gone. And I looked into different brokerages, finally came back to EXP. And when I circled back, I was like, so, just kind of give you more information. My previous brokerage, I was making really good money residually. But what I was forced to change my mindset on was not short term, what's the long-term plan here? And when I thought of it like that, and I sat down and really, I'm a very visual, hands-on person. So when I actually sat down and went through the numbers, and I was like, my mindset shift at that point, and it really shifted from a scarcity mindset to a more abundant mindset. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, boom, right that minute. It was just a magical power that came over me. It was really just like, holy cow, that's the possibility, which outweighed the previous brokerage that I was at. So, that was one big challenge. But that was just one, that wasn't a simple overnight thing for me. This thing dragged on for about a month. And finally, when I made the move to EXP, I was committed to 40 agents in 6 months. And I didn't know how that would look. I didn't know how that would feel. I really didn't know, but I just knew that if I was going to be with a company that had such exponential potential for me to live a life that I honestly couldn't even imagine living, that I was going to go hard. And I'm a very all in or all the way out kind of person by nature. So, in my first 6 months, I wasn't able to hit my goal of helping 40 people, but I was able to, I think that first 6 months, it was probably close to 30, a little over 30, probably 31 or 32, which was a blessing, because I realized though, a lot of the times I didn't even have to talk about EXP. I didn't know anything about EXP, nor did I want to dive into it. I just dove in wanting to hit the ground running. And kudos to you, Carlos, Veronica, Gil, my upline, or even Bobby, I utilized the hell out of y'all because I didn't know anything about EXP. So that really, really helped me. And not only that, making that introduction to people who have had, like yourself, independent brokerages, or people who've owned franchise and converted over. These are like my personal coaches and mentors who helped me in my business to this day. So being able to really make that introduction, it was so fulfilling for me, because it wasn't a, hey, let me tell you about EXP, you guys really coached and mentored them and a coaching session, which by just naturally, you want to be around people that are going to help your business. You know, I want to always be surrounded by people who are inspiring me. So, you know, I came into real estate period as a single mother, raised my boy for his first probably 10 years of life, you know, and now he's 14 and our family's growing and we're living a beautiful life now. But it's, you know, I really am grateful for, you know, the people that I've helped. I get to leverage in so many ways, and I get to, you know, literally help others with their business, you know, and it's just been a blessing. There's been tons of challenges in the process. Like I said, I didn't know much about EXP, but you know, really just being able to reach out to people who do know and who can coach, and learning their style is now I'm able to put myself in a position where I can coach and mentor and really help other agents out, for the simple fact that, like, I've seen it, I went through it, I see what they do, and I'm totally duplicating Carlos, Veronica, Gil, Bobby, everything, all the systems that they have in place, I'm leveraging or I'm duplicating. And that's really, really, I give, you know, a lot of my success to my leaders around me. And it was this culture that really is, you know, I've capped my second year with EXP. And that's amazing. I've never capped at any other brokerage. I get to really influence people in their business. So it's just been, there's just so many blessings that I can just bore people with. But I think at the end of the day, you know, it's really just that mindset from thinking scarcity, thinking like, oh my God, you know, I got to pay monthly bills, you know, I got to pay a monthly fee to the brokerage, like really going from literally, I was there and it was hard, but I, you know, activate faith and you just go for it, man. And just don't look back, and you know that things got to work out, because it's just going to work out. And when you have that certainty, you'll find a way.
Awesome. Let me have you mute yourself, Jen. There we go. All right. So basically, you know, you capped, you know, you're a capping agent. And while you're capping, you built, you know, you got 30 plus agents. First 6 months, you've got an organization of 100 or so agents. How many agents do you have right now, Jen?
I just checked right before this because I knew you were going to ask me that, and I'm doing better with knowing my numbers, but I have right now 142 agents in my organization total.
Woo! Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped about it.
Let me have you mute yourself again. All right, guys, so as you heard, I mean, you know, Jennifer's got 142. She's still selling. She's a capping agent. She's out there doing it. And you know, one of the biggest things that she mentioned is plugging into those that came before you, plugging into mentors. We all have them. We all have leaders that came before us. And you know, I'm flattered that obviously Jennifer is duplicating some of the stuff that I do, but you know, I didn't make this stuff up. I've got one of my biggest mentors here together with, you know, others like Jay Kinder and Michael Reeves. But, you know, Brent Gove, everything he does, I try to copy and duplicate and use and leverage, right? So first you gotta leverage and be someone that is willing to be a student first. And as you heard Jen, that's what she did. She was blessed by the fact that she didn't know anything about, or she didn't care to learn so much about EXP. She would just take someone and put them in front of leaders. And we all have those leaders. We've got Brent Gove here, who is one of the most big-hearted, massive leaders in the company. I love this guy. So Brent, let me have you, you know, share with the audience a little bit of the early Brent, you know, before you figured out, you know, how to grow a massive organization. How did you make it happen? You know, you still had your team coming to EXP. You still had to nurture that a little bit, but you made some decisions that led to where you're at today. So let's have you share a little bit of that with the audience.
Well, sounds great. Thank you, Carlos. This is just totally awesome, man. Look at this room. There's over 100 people in the room. And because it's virtual, we didn't pay a dime for it. We got to heat and cool it. Nobody had to fly here, get hotel rooms, Uber. Everybody's saving a ton of money. We're running highly efficient and super cool. And Ken, Dan, Jen, Jennifer, wow, you guys are rock stars. Totally love this. So, man, okay. So roll back the time. It was about 4 years ago. And when I joined eXp, October 21st was 4 years ago. And basically, I was in love with Keller Williams, never leaving the company, going to retire there, greatest company on the planet. I mean, I really felt like nobody was even in the same universe. There was just absolutely no comparison. And I just agreed to watch this eXp thing, what's this? And, I was going, yeah, interesting, not for me, but thanks, which I'm always looking at stuff. But when the presentation was over, I'm like, I remember saying, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm actually really, really interested because it's just different. It's not that it was better than Keller Williams. It's different. This had a retirement component. This had a real equity component. By the way, most of my friends who sell at a pretty good level, I'm talking 40, 50, 60 homes a year, they're all millionaires now through the stock in the past 4 years. And nobody's missed that boat. We've done this with 38,000 agents. Wait till we have 100,000 and 200,000. The stock's going to look like they were given away for free at 40 something dollars a share. So I'm telling you, I bought stock last week. I'm buying stock this week. I'm so excited. I know where our future is in 5-10 years. It's going to freak everybody out in the room. We're going to be one of those big companies, baby. So I flew to San Antonio, went to eXp's annual convention, interrogated 100 people, and 2 weeks later, I moved my team. I had 18 agents, 6 listing specialists, 12 buyer specialists, doing $100 million a year in sales at Keller, and moved them to eXp, and just didn't miss a beat. Moved on a Wednesday night. We literally all met at the office at 10 o'clock. We didn't want to disturb our office. Our office had been great to us, so we wanted to be great to them. So we moved from 10 to midnight. Midnight, we roll into our new office, unload till 1 in the morning. Next morning, we're back at 8 a.m. Everybody, laptops open, did not miss a beat. I mean, it was so easy. I think it's harder to go to Whole Foods, park your car, go in and go grocery shopping. This was no big deal moving companies. And we switched over our business. By the way, do you know if your old broker's going to charge you that eXp won't charge you? If they're going to charge you 20%, 30, 40, 50%, eXp does a pass through and doesn't charge the 20% to the agent. Check into that. But, it's pretty cool. A lot of people are not aware of that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I was waiting to close deals, but then they're always doing no deals. They can move. And if their old brokerage charges them their 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, eXp doesn't take the 20%. It's pretty cool. Side note. But so I got into eXp, Carlos, to answer your question. And I was carrying anywhere from 18 to 28 listings at all times. So I've been doing it for 2 decades, 20 years, handpicked, cherry-picked the listings, so to speak, those, to put it in Dan's language, those beautiful Georgia peaches. I would handpick the peaches I wanted, nice, coachable clients that were, list the property at the proper price and bring me gifts. After 20 years, I'm sick of bringing them gifts from Starbucks. You can buy me a gift if you want to be my nice people, not those other people. And so just loving K-Dub. And then I go to eXp, switched all my 35 escrows and listings over. And everyone's like, oh my gosh,